Okay, everybody, this is going to be a review for the answers for the Chapter 6 test, the practice test that's in the book. Starts on page 965. So the first question asks whether or not the system has one solution, infinite solutions, or no solution. The first one has one solution. We know that because the lines have two different slopes. The second one has one solution for the same reason, different slopes. And the third one has no solution. We know that because it has the same slope but different y-intercept, which means they are parallel lines. So there is no solution for that one. For number 4, 5, and 6, you had to solve using substitution. So for number 4, substituted one equation in for y and just set them equal to each other there and solved that and got 8 for x and 25 for y. For number 5, again, we needed to use substitution. So I took the second equation where y equals negative 5x plus 1, plugged that in for the y in the first equation, needed to use distributive property there, solved for x, got x is 2 and y is negative 9. And then for number 6, in order to do substitution here, I actually solved for y in one of the equations. I solved for y in the second equation, so I added 3x to both sides and then plugged in 3x plus negative 16 for the y in the first equation. Solved that and got x equals 3 and y equals negative 7. For number 7, 8, and 9, we had to solve using elimination. So number 7 was already set up to solve using elimination. We just needed to add them together. And you should have gotten x is 8 and y is negative 24. For number 8, we needed to multiply the top equation by positive 2. And then we were able to add the two together and get the y's to drop and get x equals 11 and y equals negative 2/5. Now for number 9, you could have chosen a couple different options. You could have multiplied the top by 5 and the second equation by 2. That's what I chose to do so that my y would drop out. You could have also multiplied the top by 2 or negative 2 and the second one by 3 or negative 3. That would get your x's to drop out. Either way, this was a little bit of a messy one because the solution was x equals negative 44 over 19 and y equals negative 29 over 19. So those are kind of yucky numbers, but that happens sometimes. Fractions are still values. We could plug that in, which I did do on my scratch paper to make sure that those did make both of those equations true. So that is the correct solution. All right, then 10 and 11, we needed to solve these systems of inequalities by graphing. So take a look here. Here's 10. The first line, the intercept was negative 1. Applied the slope of up 4, right 1. It was a dashed line because it was not or equal to, and we shaded above it. And then the second equation, the intercept was positive 4, had a negative slope of negative 1, so down 1, right 1, or up 1, left 1. Solid line because it was or equal to, and shade below it. So this double shaded area right here is the solution for number 10. Number 11. Again, graph the two lines. The first one was x is greater than negative 3. So x is negative 3 right here, dashed line because it's not or equal to, and x is greater to the right. So we shaded to the right of that dashed line. Then the second one was negative 3x plus y is greater than or equal to 6. I had to add 3x to both sides. Then I plotted 0, 6 was my intercept. I had a slope of positive 3 over 1 now. So I could go up 3, right 1, or I could go down 3, left 1. Solid line because it was or equal to. and then shade above it, which was this way for the solid line. So where they overlap here, this double shaded area, that's the solution for number 11. For number 12, we have a story problem, except this just has one linear inequality. So if you were trying to find two inequalities for this one, this was just a single one. And we needed to have a certain number of $1 objects plus a certain number of $5 objects, and we needed to spend less than $45. So this is what it looks like. Again, you could have put A over here and B down here. That would have been okay too. It should look very similar. You should have an intercept of 45 on your A axis and an intercept of 9 on your B axis. Join those two and shade below. Okay, I'm going to make a second video for the second half of this test. So that's the end of page 1.